Thanks for listening to Creative Control. While I have you here, please consider supporting Youth Empowerment and Support Services, otherwise known as YES. Based in Edmonton, Alberta, YES provides immediate and low-barrier overnight and day shelter, temporary supportive housing, and individualized wraparound supports for young people aged 15 to 24. They work collaboratively within a network of care focused on the prevention of youth homelessness by providing youth with the necessary supports to stabilize their housing, improve their well-being, build life skills, connect with community, and avoid re-entry into homelessness. Learn more about how to donate or otherwise support YES by visiting yess.org.
Creative control, creative control. Comedy, art, and sometimes rock and roll. Let's do a public opinion poll. Raise your hand if you love creative control. 'Cause when Vish is unleashed, well, Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I was just working on a tribute song to my favorite podcast, Creative Control, with Vish Khanna. My name is Matthias, and I play in a band called The Burning Hell, but more importantly, I support Creative Control on Patreon, and I think you should too. Quality long-form arts journalism is like a magical talking unicorn. It definitely exists, but it can be really hard to find. Fortunately for us, Vish makes it easy with hundreds of funny, thought-provoking, well-researched and engaging interviews with artists from all over the world. Your flexible monthly donation on Patreon will get you plenty of special exclusive treats and help Vish keep his podcast well-fed and cared for properly, the way a magical unicorn deserves.
To make your flexible monthly donation to Creative Control, please visit patreon.com/Creative Control today.
Dave Foley and Kevin McDonald are pioneering comedy legends who currently live in New York City and Winnipeg, Manitoba, respectively. Something truly magical occurs every time Foley and McDonald join their colleagues Bruce McCullough, Mark McKinney, and Scott Thompson to work together as the beloved and groundbreaking comedy troupe, The Kids in the Hall. Their innovative, award-winning sketch series aired on HBO, CBC, and CBS between 1989 and 1995, but after a tour and the 1996 release of the feature-length film Brain Candy, the kids went their separate ways. Beginning in 2000, they reconvened for periodic live tours, created the 2010 television series Death Comes to Town, and were subject to at least 2 full-length biographical books about their remarkably funny and uncompromising work together. In May 2022, The Kids in the Hall are truly back, as Prime Video released an excellent new season of their sketch show, and also the wonderful documentary The Kids in the Hall, Comedy Punks. As such, Dave and Kevin and I caught up recently for a good funny talk about the Liverpool soccer team, birthday celebrations, why the kids are back, how the pandemic impacted everything they were planning to do, and what they actually did with their show, bringing contributors like Julie Klausner and Jen Kirkman into the fold, nudity and the Beatles, living up to legacies, future plans, and much more. A part of the Entertainment One network with the support of listeners like you who follow and subscribe to this podcast and spread the word about it and make flexible monthly donations at patreon.com/Creative Control. With additional support from Blackbird Music, a well-stocked record store with locations in Edmonton and Calgary, Alberta, and friendly staff who will happily help you find whatever it is you're looking for. Hey, say you're looking for every album by shadowy men on a shadowy planet. Blackbird people can probably help you out, I bet. Go to blackbird.ca for more information about them. Plus in-kind support from Pizza Trocadero, The Bookshelf, and Planet Bean Coffee in Guelph, Ontario, and Grandad's Donuts in Hamilton, Ontario. This is episode 691 of Creative Control, featuring the lovely and talented Dave Foley and Kevin McDonald of The Kids in the Hall, with your host, me, Vish Khanna. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm well.
Is this a sound check? Is that what you said?
No, this is the real deal. Where in the world are you today, Kevin?
Where in the world? I'm in Winnipeg. Sorry. I'm looking over here because I'm Liverpool's playing, and I want to see their lineup. They're playing.
I see. Okay. No, I understand
now that it's important, it's okay. They're not going with their A lineup, Dave. They have to win 2 games and hope the Manchester City loses for them to win the league. But they're not going with their A lineup.
Why aren't you telling this to Myers?
But right. That's right. That's his team. Right.
Mike watches Liverpool quite obsessively.
He's probably going crazy now. Why isn't Salah playing? Where's Diaz?
I don't know who these people are.
I was not counting on a sports update for our conversation. This is good. I enjoy it.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Wasting time.
No, it's
okay. You got
totally
3 extra minutes at the end.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Our mutual friend Don Pyle and I were texting yesterday, Kevin, and when I told him we'd be chatting, he suggested, as something of an inside joke, I wish you happy birthday, but then he realized it actually was your birthday. So I don't know what the inside joke part is, so I will sincerely say, happy birthday, Kevin. I hope it was a nice one.
Yes. I don't know the joke part. It was an inside nice thing to say.
something about a cameo, he expanded upon it. I don't know what that means. Did you send...
Oh, maybe his partner asked me to do a cameo on his birthday. That rings a bell.
I feel
cameo
like
video thing. It's
that's
okay.
Right.
You got 4 minutes now.
I feel like Don has punked me into turning this into a cameo promotion. But anyway, I just wanted to say happy birthday. And also, Dave Foley, are you there somewhere? Dave, how's it going?
I am. I'm here. I'm in New York City.
Oh. Nice.
It's a city in New York.
New York City.
What brings you to New York, Dave?
I live here now.
Oh,
so being inside my apartment brings me here.
I see. Nice.
He's usually outside his apartment.
Yeah, because much like Fred Flintstone.
Dave, did you do anything remotely to help celebrate Kevin's birthday? Anything special?
Yeah, he texted me.
I texted him and I retweeted Scott's tweet.
Oh, I haven't got on Twitter yet. I'm sorry.
I didn't have time to write my own.
Was it a funny, nice, sweet, mean joke?
It was a nice one. Yeah, he made an Aristophanes reference. It was good.
I should have got on it yesterday. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's all right.
No, it's your birthday. You deserved a day off, Kevin. You don't want to be on Twitter.
I'm never on Twitter. It would have been the one day on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, Kevin, have the kids in the hall had any particularly memorable birthday bashes for any fellow troop members? I feel like if anyone was going to go whole hog, it might be you guys. Has anything ever occurred?
The only thing I remember is that on tour in 2008,
I didn't get.
Bruce got mad. I accidentally turned on the Siri thing. Bruce got mad at our manager lawyer. And he was right to get mad, but he was very mad, and he was brilliant in his meanness. And then an hour later, Scott said, "Bruce, can I talk to you on the bus, please?" Now Scott had forgotten that it was Bruce's birthday, so Scott was bringing Bruce into the bus to yell at him. But Bruce thought, "Oh my God, all the guys are there! It's going to be a surprise party." He brought him in and just yelled at him.
He thought an intervention was a birthday party? That's amazing.
Yeah.
No, that's what... my wife threw a roast for me for my 50th birthday party.
Oh.
And I know Bruce was there in person for it, and Kevin and Mark did videos for it.
Yes. Sorry, I wasn't there.
Remember that.
But I like the video. I want to use that idea somehow. I think that's a funny idea.
Did you appreciate the roast, Dave? Was it a good roast?
Oh, it was great. It was a wonderful night. Yeah, it was like a lot of my best friends in comedy and music were there.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, like a roast for you is good because it's good comedians doing a roast. So it's great. Bad comedians doing a roast would be a nightmare.
Yeah, no, I had like Dana Gould and Patton Oswalt and Paul F. Tompkins and Dave Thomas and Dave Higgins.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I'm probably leaving out somebody important.
I just had a very nice chat with Dana Gould. He's going to be on the show, so that's exciting for me. That's
good.
Lovely. Yeah. Now, Kevin, I feel like the last time we spoke, we were in person in Toronto, and you had suggested that you specifically were working on trying to bring the kids back together to get into a series. I remember this somewhat distinctly.
I said that?
Well, you hinted at it. I don't know if anything...
I lie. I didn't know work.
Did you play any role?
Is hoping that Dave does the work soon? Is that work?
What was your role in getting everyone together, Kevin? Did you not play one?
No.
No.
Well, that's not true. You agreed quickly.
I agreed. Yeah, I was the first to agree. After Dave, I don't think Dave was finished his sentence when he was talking to us. I said, yes!
Yeah, yep.
So who spearheaded this within the troop?
It is the guy on this call. It's Dave Foley.
It was me.
Really?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. Okay, Dave. Wow.
Yeah, I started approaching Broadway Video back in 2018 about doing something for our 30th anniversary. And it took about a year to line up, to get Broadway Video and lined up, and then we got Amazon interested. And then, even though I had lied and said the kids were all interested, then got the kids interested.
you jumped ahead, did you? Did you anticipate?
Yeah.
Did you anticipate issues getting the kids back together to do this?
I anticipated issues if I didn't come to them with a deal.
Right.
But if the kids in the hall discuss anything in theory, then it goes on forever. But if we're talking about something, here's an offer. Should we do it or not? Then we can get something done.
So how many other times since you got back together, so to speak, and started to get along again, how many other times have you tried, either of you, to bring a show back together beyond the reunion tours and all the other activity? Dave, do you want to feel that?
Well, we did. Death Comes to Town,
course. Yeah,
and that came out because we were talking about different. We were trying to think of some because we were enjoying touring. And we were trying to think of some new project to do together. And I think it was Kevin and Bruce came up with the idea for that.
Started off as a movie because we thought, we should do another movie. And then everyone had lots of ideas, the five of us, and it became a miniseries on the tour bus. And then we didn't do it as much as we said we would, but we sometimes met in a hotel room before the show that night sometimes.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this has been sort of a long time coming. It's very exciting. I didn't really get to say this because we were so distracted by the soccer results. Football, sorry. I'm very pleased as a longtime fan with this new season. It's brilliant. Congratulations. I just want to say that as a fan. I hope you're pleased. I hope you're both pleased with it, is what I'll say.
I think we're very proud. I think we're actually very proud of it.
Very proud.
I saw maybe last night Dave Thomas actually chimed in on Twitter.
Oh, did he? Oh, I haven't seen that.
He chimed in to say how much he loved it. And, this is, for those who don't know, SCTV alum, Dave Thomas, comedy genius. He's gone on about it a couple of times. So it's really resonating with all sorts of people. I appreciate that. So
I guess he was too busy to pick up a phone.
Well, technically, he did probably use a phone. I think we should. I think he was.
You know what he's thinking too? He's thinking we did something that he wanted to do because he was trying to spearhead an SCTV reunion forever.
Yeah.
And it was hard to get everyone in their busy schedules to agree.
Oh, I'm glad Dave liked it. I will have to call him.
I feel like they did one thing. Remember that? Rick Moranis, like a couple of years ago, they did something for charity, as I recall, and I wanted to go.
They did. Well, we were there.
We were there.
Oh, you were there? That's true. Yes.
Yeah, it was a McKenzie Brothers reunion.
Yes,
and it was it was a benefit for Dave Thomas's nephew.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So anything's possible.
And Geddy Lee was there, and he sang the song at the end.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's great. Dave, I'm going to go to you here. Was there anything about this latest iteration?
I can blame you. Kevin really wore out as well.
No, it's fine. I know he's preoccupied by the football. I keep saying the wrong word. I apologize. Was there anything about?
I say soccer.
You say soccer? I think we all say soccer. Who says football?
Because I like the NFL football, so it gets confusing. I'll shut up. Talk to Dave.
Was there anything about this latest iteration, Dave, of the kids working together that surprised you or felt like a particular departure from recent reunion tours? Anything you've done before?
I don't know that nothing specifically really surprised me because working with the kids in the hall is about being surprised. So it's like what you expect. We're always surprised by each other's ideas. And we go, and that's a great idea. I never would have thought of that. So that happens all the time.
Yeah.
But we're not surprised that we keep surprising each other, if that makes sense.
It does. Kevin,
I'm also surprised a lot by how sometimes someone really hates an idea of mine. That surprises me.
Yeah.
How vociferous are they with their hate? Do they just go at you?
It depends on the person.
It depends. I mean, some people are polite. I'm so polite, I only hate behind their backs. which is not polite in the long run.
Yeah.
But Scott's pretty honest, and I guess honesty is on the side of goodness of the world. But sometimes, but you don't have to be honest and mean. That's my point, Vish.
Yes, no, I appreciate that. I'm sorry if I'm being mean in any way. Please call me out. I don't mean to be. I'm sorry. Kevin, how much of the material from this season was derived from new writing that occurred on the tour bus, on stage, on the reunion tours? Is there anything from on the show that people would have seen on the reunion tours?
Yes, there are a few things. How many scenes? I should count them.
It was Imaginary Girlfriend. It's from the road. Hateful Baby.
Oh, baby. The Professor.
Yeah.
We're counting. It's going to take 25 minutes.
That might be it. Oh, and Super Drunk.
Super Drunk.
So I think that's it.
So that suggests and
there's more that we'd like to get in that we'll try to get next year. Sorry, I'll shut up.
No, it's fine. So Dave, once you strike the deal, everyone's on board. Writing furiously, you start to write new stuff. Is that what's going on?
Yes. Once we got everything agreed to, and we worked out all the details with Broadway Video and Prime Video, then we all met in Toronto to start the actual writing.
Yeah.
And then apparently there was a pandemic. So then we stopped writing.
Yeah.
So we wrote about it. We wrote 8 episodes worth of stuff. And then the pandemic forced us to shut our writer's room down for a year. And then by the time we came back to it, we'd kind of gotten, as we usually do, we got bored with some of the old ideas and wanted to write new stuff.
Like Neil Young. Neil Young will write new stuff if he was on tour, and he'll love it. And then by the time he gets to the recording studio, he's bored of that stuff. We're Neil Young is my point. I don't have to finish the story. We're Neil Young.
5 Neil Youngs. Take that, Monsanto.
I recall Bruce would say you were like the Replacements. Now you're Neil Young. You're just moving up in the world.
We're also like the Replacements.
A little bit like the Replacements too.
In that we're less successful than Neil Young.
Yeah.
Kevin, was there any I assume this is pandemic related, because I will say as a fan, I noticed right away, no audience, no in-studio performances.
Oh, no, there was. We were just bombing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There were 2,000 people every night we shot.
Yeah.
Just eerily quiet.
Just
crickets. Just crickets the whole time.
Not a sausage, as they say.
Yeah.
Was it pandemic? I assume it's obvious probably that it was a pandemic decision.
This is how I remember it, and not all the members of the troupe remember it this way. But I remember that it was before the pandemic, there was a debate whether we should film it, do it all live, or do it like we did in our last TV show, live and film. I think Dave and I both wanted just to have it filmed, and maybe a few others too. Mark very much wanted to do it like the last show. And the way I remember it is that we hadn't agreed yet, and then the pandemic answered it for us. That's the way I remember it.
Yeah. And it was, and even before the pandemic, there was also production concerns just in terms of people's schedules.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Bruce, there's also that. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, because Bruce was working on Tall Boys and Mark was still doing Superstore, and we didn't know if he was going to be going back to Superstore. Mm-hmm. So we had the very small window when Mark was available to shoot and when Bruce was available to shoot. So we had to fit it in between there. And doing stuff in front of the live audience takes a lot longer than doing stuff.
You have to rehearse and camera block it. Like it takes a week to get to the studio, and then it takes a week to get to the studio to do more scenes, and it takes a week to get.
Yeah. You have to do the live studio stuff. We would rehearse for a week, and then we would spend a week in studio blocking.
I appreciate all of that. To my mind, you are, and I think this is indisputable, one of the greatest live comedy troupes of all time. And I think of you each as very gifted performers. So I think it's obvious, probably, an audience in front of you will heighten everything you're doing. So I'm just curious from your own perspectives, Kevin, what was it like to not have, like the last time I saw you perform, Kevin, was unbelievable. You were in Guelph when I lived in Ontario still. By the way, Kevin, I moved to Alberta. It's a bit weird. Anyway.
You're closer to me than you
I am
were.
closer to you than I was. Anyway, Kevin, did that alter your performance in some particular way that you could?
Well, it alters what the show becomes. The show has become something that it should become because we're older. The show is more thoughtful. and more dig in. And I think it fits our age. That wasn't the plan. We're older now. Let's just film, because everyone's saying about the show, it's so much like their old show. It's so wonderful. They have the theme song. They have something that's like Super 8, and they do the same way. But there is a difference. There is something, and I'm glad there's something different. And that it's all filmed, and not just that it's all filmed, but what it brings to the show that it's all filmed.
Yeah.
We sort of dig in more. Our AD told us at one point, "Oh, I get it. You guys aren't doing sketches anymore. You're doing short films."
Right.
And I think our mission, if we get a second season, is to do shorter short films. But and like it or I'm not saying there was necessarily a great thing. I'm no way in saying it was a bad thing, but that's the thing that the show became. Like it sort of defined it, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, do you have perspective on that? Just as someone who is.
Yeah. No, I would say that. I mean, I love, especially when we do our live touring. I love being in front of a live audience and that excitement and that fun. I think it's, I don't know how it would translate onto television at this point in our lives. I mean, I don't know how. I'm not sure it's as exciting to see on TV a bunch of guys in their 60s in front of a live audience as it was to see a bunch of guys in their 20s in front of a live audience.
I see.
Okay. I'm not sure if it has the same. I don't know. Maybe it would. I just don't know.
It would have an appeal. There's two appeals. When we were young, it's because we were young and we were like a rock band, blah, blah. But also it's great to see people live. Like when Monty Python were old and did it, was just great to see them live. Yeah. So we got some of that appeal, but you're right. We wouldn't get all the appeal. It wouldn't be the excitement factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, from my perspective and sort of in the Kids in the Hall lore, you guys as a troupe would often write in kind of pairs. Like Dave and Kevin, you would often work together. Bruce and Mark would often work together. Scott would work with Paul Bellini and I guess whoever else was around. Did that change? Has any of that dynamic changed, Dave?
I mean, it's true, still true. And it's also still true that it's not a hard and fast thing.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, because Kevin writes with everybody because everybody wants Kevin,
because I say yes to all their ideas.
Yeah, Kevin's much more positive than say Mark or myself or Bruce, and he's much less violent than Scott. So,
well, Kevin is very supportive. I agree. I can see that. So
remember the first sketch we wrote with Scott, and Scott was in a bad mood, and the sketch sort of died. We should try it again. The sketch about where I go to a friend brings me to a restaurant and I'm disappointed. Like it seems shabby. The food isn't as good. There's less French fries than normal. The water, this and then Dave says, Kevin, this restaurant has cancer. And then
says, you mean the owner? No, the restaurant itself.
The restaurant itself has cancer. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I'm so sorry.
Okay, well, and then it's all the staff, and all the staff going, look, the restaurant is doing its very best considering the circumstances. Sir, if you could just be a little bit patient with the restaurant.
Oh my God, how did this not make it? That sounds unbelievable.
It was the first sketch we wrote, and I guess it was a part like getting the rust out, and part Scott was in a weird mood, and that sort of defined that writing period. Which sometimes is amazing that he's in a weird mood. Things go that way, but
I think it was Scott said, so we're writing a sketch about cancer, so cancer's funny, and we had to go, Scott, you wrote it with us.
That's right, because Scott had cancer.
Yes, that's right, he did. Yeah,
halfway through he realized that he had cancer, and he got.
It is amazing. Like is the professor the Shakespeare bust scene? Is that what you call the professor?
No, that's just called Shakespeare bust.
That's an example. There's a few examples of this. Or the hot guy. I will say Kevin is among my favorite things. Mm-hmm. There's just little kernels of an idea that I'm like, I can't believe they're taking this far. I caught that more on this season. Just like, I can't believe that went from like, what if we did this to like a full blown exploration of the idea. I appreciate that you believe in your ideas, is all I'm getting at there, because it's really funny.
It's funny because you know what I heard about Shakespeare's, but who told me? I forget. Said that scene reminded me that you can never guess where you guys are going. I never guessed in a million. It was Julie Klausner. She said, I never guessed in a million years that you'd be going to 3 months later. Like that was amazing. No other writer would have done that. They would have finished it right there.
Yeah.
And my thought was, really? Where else would it have gone? But I guess that's
Yeah.
what makes us the kids in the hall.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
The stuff that seems obvious to us, it seems weird to other people.
And
Yeah.
Julie is among the people who a huge fan of the show and the troupe for a long time, involved in this production. Is that right, Dave?
Yes.
Yeah. We asked Julie to come in as in on the writing staff early on.
Yeah.
And because we're all fans of Julie's, so we were happy to have her involved.
You have a number of really top tier comedy writers helping you here, and new to the, like, I see Norm Hiscock's name is involved, is still involved rather, but
Yeah, and Gary Campbell's there. Yeah.
but Jen Kirkman's name pops up. I feel the credits go by very quickly in time with the Shadowy Men on a Shadowy
Yeah.
Planet music. But I saw some names. I'm like, oh, this is great. So kind of branching out a little, Dave. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, well, and unfortunately, COVID made it hard that we couldn't all get in the room together and work. But it was just trying to get some other perspectives and some other ideas coming in. Yeah,
The poor new writers, you're right. Because by the time we got the new writers and we were meeting, it was just on Zoom
Yeah.
because of COVID. And it must have been harder, or in a way, is it easier? I guess it's sort of, you're less nervous, but it's harder to get to pitch an idea, probably.
Yeah.
It was interesting to Dave, your character, the A.T. and Love boss, makes some allusions to kind of current concerns, office dynamics, just people being more conscientious of each other and whatnot. I'm just curious how that ended up on the show, because it's gentle. It's a gentle acknowledgement of like current norms and what people are talking about. Because I think some people are like, kids in the hall, what are they going to do? They've never really cared about that stuff. They care. Scott in particular, I've talked to him many times. He doesn't give a shit about woke stuff or anything, right? He's just like, funny is funny. Like, everyone relax. Was there any sensitivity in that regard in terms of what you came up with together?
No sensitivity on our internally.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Right.
But there was definitely external pressures on what we could and couldn't do.
From producers, network, where did that come from?
Producers Network.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, network.
Like, we wrote what we wrote normally because we never censor ourselves when we write. So we went as dark, as unwoke, not because we were aiming for that. I mean, sometimes it was just a funny idea about pigs or something.
Yeah.
But we follow the idea. And if it goes on wokeness, we don't censor ourselves there. And then we're told later that maybe we have to trim it down a bit.
Right.
And then we deal with that then.
Okay.
Mhm.
Speaking of trim. Oh, sorry, Dave, were you going to say something?
Oh no, I was just going to say the weird thing was that character, the AT and Love boss. I was only involved in writing one of his appearances, which is the Danny Husk sketch about
clown shoes.
The clown shoes.
Yeah.
But but somehow that's the character that came back the most.
Yeah,
And-
recurring. Yeah.
But everyone else kept writing him in. I didn't.
Now, nudity. There seems
Thank
to me
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't say anything.
nudity.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a surprising amount of nudity I found in this season. We all know that nudity exists; it's out there. But you guys seem to really embrace nudity. Kevin, why bring nudity so far into and so expanded, I guess, expanded nudity into the Kids in the Hall universe in this way for this season? What do you think's going on there?
I don't know. What I think subconsciously and deep, I don't go deep into my subconscious. I'm not good enough, so I don't know. But consciously, I view it as a accident and as a coincidence and as an idea. Like the scene you're talking about, without ruining it, where Dave and I go to Money Mart and do that thing there we do. That was just the idea. That was the hook of the idea. No way am I thinking, oh, we're older now, we have to show the world we're edgy, so
Right.
let's take our clothes off, or this is about ageism, or it's nothing like that. That's the way the idea came with. And then the other thing where I'm sort of naked, the lukewarm bathtub scene.
The ha-ha
I just
guy,
thought,
yeah.
I kept thinking it's deadpan. And what's more deadpan than a shot from me, and I'm talking about going in the bath. So I'm complaining to the superintendent about the bathtub. So it makes so much sense that I'm still naked. I'm so upset I haven't put my clothes back on. So and the shot from the back, because the frontal in that scene, because every scene has different rules, that would not be funny. But it's more deadpan when it's from the back and you hear me complaining. So I think, unless I'm kidding myself, they were just for those particular comedy reasons, for those particular scenes. No way do I think it's a cry for help for me for the world to respect my naked body, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. yeah, and the other thing I didn't know until we saw it all cut together that the Buddy Colstein also had male frontal nudity in it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't there when they shot it, so I didn't know anything about it. So
And that's also coincidence. Scott just wanted that because it made sense for that scene.
Or it could have been Scott going, "What? Dave and Kevin are naked? Well, I have to have nudity." That also
or it could have been that.
That could be what happened.
Experientially, Dave, what was it like to shoot those scenes for you to go all out like that?
Fun. It was just, it's kind of there's a release to, not giving a shit about things,
Interesting choice of words. A release and not giving a shit. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's like, you're just going out and going, you're just sort of, it is that thing where you just sort of going, all right, we're two men in our 60s. And we know this isn't sexy, but we do think it's funny. So,
yes, and if it was sexy, it wouldn't be funny.
I like that the other side of that is that for many, many years now, Bruce and Mark have been playing these dumb cops, and it actually just accentuated how dumb they are. That the action. Anyway, I don't want to ruin it either. So I hope people check that out.
I like the fact that it really is two sketches disguised as one sketch.
Yes, exactly.
And that they're both two relationship sketches.
Yes.
And they're really about friendship. It's like Kevin and I, our characters are clearly really good friends.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And so are the cops.
Yeah.
So it's like I like that there's a structure. There's a structural element to it that is unusual.
It's like, can I compare us to Lennon McCartney? I'm not saying we're as good as, but that song.
And they're both from Liverpool, and they love that soccer team.
Yes, yes. Paul does. I think he is a fan of Liverpool, but his mother liked Everton. John had that song. How does it feel to be one of the beautiful? But he had nowhere else to go, and he gave it to Paul. And Paul said, "I have something that might fit into that. Baby, you're a rich man." And that was sort of how this happened. We had this was way more organic. Yeah. One of us had one part, and then Dave thought, I guess I'm the one of us, and then Dave thought the best part to go into. So what I'm saying is we're more organic than Lennon McCartney. Sorry.
I will say that scene reminded me more of John Lennon and Yoko Ono from the Two Virgins album cover. I'll just say that. That's where my mind went.
Naked for world peace.
Yeah. I'm trying to be mindful of the clock because I know Kevin, you got.
We gave you 4 extra minutes.
Oh, that's true. We did get 4 extra minutes. Okay,
that's what they call that in football.
Stoppage time.
Extra time.
Extra time. There's a lot of names. It used to be called injury time.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're wasting some of it right now, but that's fine. That's
Didn't they switch it to
they tag it on at the end. Okay, 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
They also called it faking injury time, right?
Yeah, faking.
I last night finally got to watch the documentary. Kids of the Hall Comedy Punks. Brilliant. I really enjoyed that as well. But
we enjoyed it too because we had very little to do with it, and we enjoyed it too. Sorry, go on.
It was interesting. There's the scene where, and I can't remember which iteration of the kids, but you're talking about the pressure, the make or break. I think it was the pilot for CBC and HBO. Oh. And it put me in mind of this situation because, Dave, as you say, not giving a shit, I can feel it. Like, I just feel like you guys seem very relaxed, just doing whatever you want. You seem to have free reign. But some people get caught up in their legacies. So when you reunite and reform, you're mindful of all that stuff. Kevin, did you guys feel any particular pressure in this iteration of the kids?
No, I don't think so. I mean, sometimes I thought about it, but never. It's like when Dave says we don't give a shit, that's totally true, but not in a nihilistic way, like a death punk band or anything. In a positive way. No, I don't care. It doesn't upset me. I want to write this scene, and I'm not afraid that I'll be saying, "Oh, I can't write anymore." And it's sort of a more confident not giving a shit.
Yes.
Yeah, the thing, because the thing we care about is the comedy.
Yeah,
we care about fulfilling each other's expectations and not being lame in front of each other.
Yeah,
but we don't. Yeah, we don't care about our legacy at all. I think our legacy, for better or worse, it exists.
Yeah.
And we're more interested in just doing stuff that pleases us.
Yeah, that's exactly what it seems like. That comes across on the screen. Did you have as much free reign to do whatever you want, as it seems? Because it seems like you did. I'm just curious, Kevin.
Or David, for the most, I'd say, for the most part, yes.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
I think there's, but certainly not entirely. And I think probably Scott, more than the rest of us, had a lot of frustrations because he found it hard to deal with issues of homosexuality and gay life, which I think the people were much touchier about for some reason, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
But we did get to do most of what we wanted to do.
Good. No, it comes across. So again, being respectful of everyone's time, not just the four of us here. Three of us here. There's four, but three. Real quick.
Yeah, don't count Colin. Golan?
There's somebody else on the thing. I want to ask you both, off the top of your head, to each name what you feel are your favorite scenes from the new season. And then before we wrap up, I'm sure like me, many fans are wondering what's next for the kids generally. So in sequential order, Kevin, can you name what might be, in this moment, your favorite scene from the new Kids in the Hall season?
You mind if I say it again, Dave? Because it might be your favorite too.
Okay, sure.
You can say that's my favorite too. A scene that Mark wrote that we're all in except for Bruce, called My Card, which it would be hard to explain. You sort of just have to see it. It's almost like a 5-minute feature movie, and it takes place in, I guess, Victorian London. And I'm not going to say anymore.
Okay.
I like. It was a great script, and then everybody was great in it, and it was really well directed, and it just everything sort of worked on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Although I'm also very partial to The Professor.
Oh, so many people love that. I'm so happy.
Now, what is it about The Professor that stands out for you, Dave?
I think it's just a kind of a freewheeling group scene where everyone gets to play. Everyone has an interesting character, and the content of it is really fun and interesting.
Okay. All right.
And my worst fear did not come true. My worst fear was, that joke's got to go because the scene is so long.
Yeah.
And you can sort of do that on stage because they're with you more on stage. It's just stuff had to go and go. Oh no, the scene won't work without that joke. And then when I see it now, I don't even remember the stuff that was cut. Like it totally worked.
Yeah.
No, it's. I just want people to know. I appreciate you picking a couple, but it's just all really incredible. So I'm, as a fan, I'm very grateful. As I say, who is best equipped to talk about what's next and where to send people to learn more about Kids in the Hall? Who do you think?
Foley.
Dave?
What's next? Well, what's next is right now we're waiting. We personally are waiting to find out what's next, because if this does well by Amazon's or Prime Video, I guess they want us to call them Prime Video's metrics and algorithms. So
I'm not sure what it means.
If their metric algorithm is happy in its cage, then we're all signed on to do some more of this. And but it just really just depends on how strong the public response is, I guess. And if it turns out we aren't going to do any more of these shows, then I think we're probably going to try and figure out something to do together soon.
Yeah.
I think this has inspired us to keep the troupe going and maybe do something else in film or television. Definitely, I think there's probably going to be some sort of live thing coming up in the future.
That's amazing news. And based on the critical reception, which has just been outstanding, I hope that people I hope it does well. I hope the thing in the cage, the metric cage thing, is gonna eat this up. It's really great. And Dave, you don't know this. I've said it to Kevin and Bruce a few times. You mean the world to me and changed my life, changed lots of lives. So I just want to thank you both, Dave, Kevin. Thank you so much for this time with me, for making the show, and for being the Kids in the Hall. It means a lot, and I wish you the best luck in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be happy in Alberta. I'll be happy in Manitoba.
And go Leafs, go!
And go Leafs, go! We've recorded the games. We haven't had a chance to see the Leafs yet. We're very excited.
Yeah, what happened?
Game 7.
Okay, I won't tell you.
Best Leafs team since '93.
They're going to make it to the second round this year.
Keep hope alive, guys. That's all I'll say for now.
All right, bye.
Oh, what a thrill that was for me. Thanks so much to Dave Foley and Kevin McDonald for appearing on this, the 691st episode of Creative Control, which is part of the Entertainment One podcast network and is available wherever you get your podcasts. If you can't find an episode that you've heard about or you're looking for, if you want to learn more about me and sign up for my monthly newsletter, please visit my website, vishkhanna.com. By the way, if you are combing through old episodes and you like this one, check back for Kevin McDonald's previous appearances, Bruce McCullough's previous appearances, and Scott Thompson's previous appearances. They've all been on the show, which means a lot to me. Now, you can like Creative Control on Facebook if you so desire. You can also follow the show on Twitter, @VishCreative, or you can follow me directly on Twitter and on Instagram, @VishKhanna. Also, please visit patreon.com/Creative Control to make a flexible monthly donation to sustain this podcast. All of the labor, all of the work goes into making this show that is given away for free. There's not a lot of compensation, but the Patreon, that's about it. That's the best way. It makes me feel good too, because often people get on the Patreon, they message me to say why they're even donating to the show, and I say, oh, this is, and it's always very heartfelt and nice. They send emails. I try to get back to everyone as soon as I can. It's lovely. It's very generous, and it also, frankly, helps me maintain my sanity, because every once in a while I'm like, this is a lot of work, a lot of hours. What am I doing this for? Anyway, thank you again. $6 or more grants you access to exclusive content derived from fresh interviews, and sometimes I dig into my old audio archives from before the show. And yeah, that's all. That's what you get at patreon.com/Creative Control. If you do get on there and are interested in receiving a Creative Control t-shirt, just message me on Patreon and I'll get you one while supplies last. Again, it's flexible, it's monthly. You can start high and go low, or start low and go high. $6, $10, $10, $6, whatever you want. Patreon.com/Creative Control. Thanks again to the fine Alberta record retailer Blackbird Music, which you can learn more about at their website, blackbird.ca. Also to Pizza Trocadero, The Bookshelf, and Planet Bean Coffee in Guelph, Ontario, and Grandad's Donuts in Hamilton, Ontario for their in-kind support for this show. Thanks as always to my good friend Jim Guthrie for letting me use some music of his on this show. You can learn more about Jim at jimguthrie.org. And finally, thank you so much for listening to this episode with Kevin and Dave. I hope you watch the new Kids in the Hall series and the new documentary, Comedy Punks. It's all great. It's a Kids in the Hall Renaissance. I don't think that's a word. Anyway, thank you for listening to this and potentially subscribing to this podcast, or following it and telling your friends all about it, spreading the word about the show. Thank you. I will talk to you soon. Be well. Bye for now.